and Joshua Ruff. Joshua's going to come and speak to us about overcoming adversity. Joshua, would you like to be on? Yeah? Let's make Joshua feel very welcome.
I have a strong passion for gardening in the most environmentally conscious way. This passion led me to discover my purpose. It is to create a garden, but not just any garden. A garden that breeds positivity. One that is inclusive and accessible to all. A place that allows for education and employment for all, with specific focus on those with disabilities. This is my vision for Henle Gardens. I envisage Henle Gardens to be alive with activity, where people are working alongside each other, sharing ideas, connecting, laughing, and reflecting. I see a lavender field, a sea of purple, where bees move freely between the flowers. A place where people leave their worries behind and find joy and peace as they wander throughout our gardens. This has been a vision of mine for a long time, and now it's becoming a reality. I always felt that starting up my own business was unattainable. However, today, I'm proud to say that we have already planted 300 lavender plants that are growing really well and thriving. I've also got 1,200 lavender seedlings soon to be planted. I've been working hard on establishing a number of garden types around my property and the gardens. A Japanese garden, a vegetable garden, an aloe garden, and a cottage garden. This is all part of my greater vision. Over the past year, I have overcome my own adversity by believing in myself to reach my true potential, despite the societal narrative, which has dictated most of my life. Growing up, I never saw anyone with a disability like mine represented in the media. Even to this day, representation of people in powered wheelchairs or disabilities that require personal assistance is almost non-existent. Growing up, I didn't see a future for myself. My future was already written for me. I hid behind my disability. I saw my disability as a burden, and it became my only identity. It took a near-death experience for this perspective to change. I began to realise my potential. I am more than my disability. I've made it my mission to help change the societal narrative, and I'm using Henle Gardens as a vehicle to do so. I want to be a positive role model for those who are also going through similar hardships, to help others discover their own potential, to show them that the possibilities are endless and that they too can create their own future. I want to bring my wealth of experience and research knowledge to fellow community members who may find themselves in a similar position. Through Henle Gardens, I aim to provide job opportunities for people with disabilities from the Mount Alexander Shire and surrounding communities. I want to offer them new skills and develop a sense of purpose through getting back to nature and working on a farm. There will be many job opportunities through gardening, farm maintenance, lavender product development, sales and hospitality. With the continued growth of Henle Gardens, I aim to host a number of community events to bring a diverse range of people to Maldon. I want the town to become more inclusive and that celebrates all people. Thank you for allowing me to share today my past, but more importantly, my future.
That was amazing. My first question is, when do the gates open? When can we come?
I'm planning to open the gates to Henle Gardens starting next year. That's the plan at the moment. But there's a lot of big things that are coming up. We've got Gardening Australia coming to look at the garden and see my vision of what I'm trying to create. So
amazing.
That's something good to look forward to.
That's incredible. Does anyone have a question?
Where's the garden?
Nuggets Range is just near Rock of Ages. Yeah.
Amazing. I've worked in Maldon in the disability access and inclusion field a number of years ago, and I have seen that there's been some improvements that have been happening in town, the crossings. I think there's probably a little way to go though. What do you reckon would most benefit Maldon in terms of accessibility now? And do you reckon, and who does it benefit?
I think with accessibility in Maldon, I know that accommodation is quite hard for people with disabilities to actually come to Maldon. There's sometimes someone might put up a notice board on the Maldon Facebook page saying they can't find somewhere, no accommodation for their disability, so that can make it difficult. I think just over the steam train in Maldon, I've been on that train, but the accessibility with that is not always there. They've had one carriage, which is probably the worst of the carriages as for disability, where first class, there's no accessibility whatsoever. So that's one thing that's, if we improved on that, probably bring more people to Maldon that find it difficult.
I wonder if that links in a little bit with what we had a conversation we had in the last around things not changing. We starting to understand access and inclusion a lot broader, but there can be some barriers to putting those changes in place from an organisational perspective, perhaps.
Which is hard when it's an old town and they haven't designed a post office, there's no way and pharmacy. Because you can't really change the heritage, but there needs to be some sort of
Middle movement and middle ground. I think middle ground is exactly the right word. Joshua.
I have to question that thing about you can't change the heritage. I have a 90-odd-year-old mother-in-law, and you know how our gutters are, she borrows down a ability scooter and stuff. And I look at the older population and I think it's still a living town. We've got to have a sense of, and that by heritage we're being exclusive as people. And I think that we really have to sit down and look at what do we actually mean by this? Yes, we want to not lose our history and we want to remember the past, but we have to live in the present. And I find myself in great conflict around that because I love history, but you know, I'd be putting some sort of metal see-through grill over all those deep drains. You could still see them, they'd still be there, but you could walk on them safely, you could ride over them safely. I have to question this real rigidity around that stuff.
That's why we have crossings. That's why you have crossings at certain intervals.
Even they're dangerous though because you know they're not. It's not really thoughtfully designed. I don't think. I think that's where we have.
This has been a ongoing thing, Joshua, bugbear since certainly before you have lived in town. Something that we're still trying to.
You know, like we just said, oh, it's heritage, full stop. It's like, no, hang on a minute. We could talk about this a bit more.
When are Gardening Australia coming?
When the lavender's in
When the
full bloom, so
Wow.
mid-November, December.
here this next year, 24.
Yeah, we'll be coming on Pro Garden Australia next year.
Amazing.
December this year they'll be coming.
Oh, they're coming this year.
Just for the 300 that are already in the other garden.
Yeah.
I guess they come and they do that kind of, you know, they do the first year and then they maybe come and film again and show the incredible developments that you will have made. What an inspirational story, and I really love your speaking to overcoming adversity within creating Henle Gardens, and what an amazing legacy to build, and how amazing is Lavender. Can't wait to look at the stage that you build and put some music in there. Go on.
Do you grow all sorts of lavender, or is this one particular one?
We grow all sorts. Got 8 varieties at the moment.
I've got a lot of French lavender, which I have.
Oh,
I know people in town grow all that English and Italian lavender.
Well, can your research tell us how many types of lavender there are?
oh, there's like over 300.
Wow.
You pick the ones that are, sorry,
No,
that
go
are all like, good for oil, some that are good for eating, some that are good for floral.
Fantastic. Paul, I think has a question.
There'll be time for more conversation. There's only a minute left on this, but and you don't have to answer this now. I'm just wondering how you include us. So it's you're going to be hiring people with disabilities. You're working with the Shire. I think that's fantastic. The whole idea is amazing. It's great for Maldon. How do you include all of us here? How do you know? We run events, the folk festival, the TEDx events, everything Maldon does, the library. How do you include us? I'm just thinking you don't want to do it in isolation of Maldon, right? You want to do it in connection with Maldon. So, and again, you don't have to answer that now. It might be something.
I think we're trying to partner up with other local businesses in Maldon, and also by partnering with some of the Porcupine Village. You've got many businesses within Maldon and also the Clydesdale place. So I think there's a lot of partnering that could go on in that way. And when we hold events and take part in events,
And possibly the location for events.
yeah,
Mhm.
and the location.
Will you be building a stage as part of the garden?
Planning to build a studio that would be big enough to hold events.
Wow.
So you let us know, but it'd be good to continue those conversations about the partnerships.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying around the accommodation being one of the biggest barriers, because if you are creating a space that's inclusive and welcoming, then there needs to be accommodation providers that can
Yep.
also support that. If you're creating this amazing inclusive lavender, well, Henle Gardens of lavender, then there needs to be people who can stay in the town as well, because it will become a destination of choice for people with disability who want to travel here. So I think if anybody's connected to any accommodation, having a think about what you can do within your accommodations that already exist, or how we consider encouraging accessible accommodation to create that sense of people's needs being met within town would be a good outcome.
Yep. Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.